Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your December forecast. This is the very last one of the year, probably one of my favorites because this is your chance to really do some housekeeping. Of course, we had a universal energy that came through last month, of course, in the form of retrograde that helped us pay attention to things that we needed to. But this month, I'm going to really look at each and every sign with the express purpose of helping you embrace unfinished business and really setting the tone and the stage for a successful, happy, clear, clean, and beautiful 2020 for everybody. I think it's great to begin and end things with gratitude, so I'd like to start off with saying thank you. Thank you to all of my return viewers and everyone that's been supporting me for the last 5 or so years. You're the reason I'm here, and I couldn't be here without you, so thank you so much. For everybody that's brand new, I'd like to welcome you to the channel and give you a quick overview of what's going on before we get started. Each and every month, I like to separate the reading into a few distinct parts. I begin with channeled information, and this is a part of the reading where I connect directly with my guides, my intuition, and I share whatever I hear, feel, or see with you. After that, I'm going to select a deck of cards, pull a Celtic cross, and look at everything from the highs to the lows to all of that in-between stuff, and really give you the roadmap so that you can decide where you want to go, because I'm a firm believer in free will. And that really is why we're showing up each and every month, by the way. After we look at the channeled information and the cards for the month, then I expand the forecast and I look at 4 distinct areas which include health, wealth, love, and destiny. If you like what you see here, and I certainly hope you do, I would love for you to stick around until the end of the video. At this point, I'll do a couple of things. The first is to review what we talked about because I know that we get into a lot of information and I'll try to summarize it in a couple of minutes so it's easy to digest and take something away. I'll also let you know how you can give back and get involved with the channel if that's something that you're interested in. This can include anything from liking and subscribing, sharing what you see here across social media, booking an appointment if you're interested, or of course you can become a patron. And that can be something that you can do either through my website, a one-time contribution through PayPal, or even joining me on Patreon. So whatever you decide to do, I just want to say thank you for showing up today, and I'll go into much greater detail at the end of the video, but right here and right now, let's talk about what is coming through for the month of December. I'm really excited to share with you your channeled message this month because it was highly visual. I think it has a really important message for you as well, so let's get into it. As I selected a deck of cards and began to meditate, immediately I started to see and feel some things in my body. What I saw first was a representation of a sort of reset that's going to happen for many of you, or maybe even a chance for something to integrate this month. It was as if you were looking at an image in Photoshop and you were trying to align it with something. I saw a superimposition of your body with like an older version of yourself. And what was happening was they were trying to align and come into focus. I guess if I'm going to do this, the thumbs have to be in the right place. So what I was seeing was like they were trying to kind of like match up and then eventually they locked into place. So there are a few things that I'd like to share from my point of view where I think this could help you. One is that whenever changes start to happen in our life, the most important thing that I think you need to do in order to like successfully make a change or shift direction is you have to feel it. You have to feel it in your heart, your soul, and you have to believe what you're about to do. When that happens, it becomes very easy for other people in your life to see you in that new direction, that new light, that new position, whatever it is you're trying to create, because you already know that you can do it. You already see yourself there. And honestly, that's more than half of the journey. So if you're trying to make a change, but you don't feel right just yet, this month you have to feel right in a heart sort of centric way. So focus on your heart this month and think, what is it that is holding me back a little bit from making this change or making this shift? This is super important for those of you that are trying to make 2020 something unique. Don't wait until January 1st to do this New Year's resolution. Start it right now here in December. Make the changes right now and give yourself a little bit of time to get used to trying something new. All right, so this is for those of you that are trying to make a change. Basically, if you have a goal, if you have an aspiration, really get excited about it, feel it, visualize, see yourself. And okay, it's hard to do this on screen. So if you're kind of out here fluctuating a little bit, you need to bring everything together. This is your heart, soul. This is going to be your body as you're moving. You want to move as one. You don't want one fluctuating, or people are going to sort of be squinting at you the same way I was trying to focus on Can I see that person doing that? Does it make sense? So once you align with your own vision and your own belief that you can do it, everything is going to follow. All right, so as I said, that's for those of you that are trying to create change. The other message is for integration. And integration is really about being honest with yourself. Are you happy in your relationship? Are you happy in your job? Are you happy with where you're living or who your friends are? Is there something in your life where you feel like it is not authentic or in alignment with who you are, who you're becoming, or who you want to be? That's the sort of other layer of fluctuation that I was seeing for some of you, which is that your higher self is already starting to realize it's time to go into something different, but your physical self is holding you steady. It's like this anchor. And so for those of you that aren't even aware that a change is about to happen, I can kind of see something that is around the corner for many of you. And I would say, take a look at your life and pinpoint what it is that you don't feel is in alignment, because that's going to get you ready so that when the change happens, when the opportunity presents itself, you will have done the work, and then it's going to be easier to embrace that and you won't be tethered. For some of you, this could also simply be about a part of your life that you need to either declare, be more honest with, or fix. So if we sometimes sweep something underneath the rug, something we know is upsetting us, it could be something in the past that happened where someone hurt you, whether it was something they said, something they did physically, or something that was just not right, and you ignore it, it has a way of festering and building. And right now I'm seeing that it wants to kind of break free, and that's why some of that blurring and some of that shifting of your energy is happening, because something that you tried to make right isn't sort of sitting right with your energy. So when you understand what that is and allow for that energy to be released, then you can take a deep breath. I'm going to try to do this again and kind of like come back into alignment. Some of you may be projecting something out there because friends, family, or loved ones expect it. So this could mean that you were forced to marry someone that you didn't like and it doesn't feel right, or you're trying to, do a job that doesn't make you feel right because your mother, your father, or someone in your life thinks that that's what you should be doing. This is a month of kind of like coming into your truth and saying, that's not me, this is me. And that's going to fix that lack of alignment that I'm seeing. So just to review what I've talked about so far, it could be that some of you are ready to make a change, at least on paper. You see that something makes sense, but you're holding back a little bit because it feels safe, because you're afraid. There's something energetically that's off, so meditate on it. Give yourself time to mourn what you're leaving and embrace what's about to come. Some of you may not be sort of fully integrated, and there's something that you have to share with the world so that you can come into alignment. And some of you might be hiding something or ignoring something from the past, and it's coming through this month because, again, it wants to be seen. So look in your energy, because you may be able to feel it if you're intuitive enough, or the first thing that comes to mind as I'm talking to you, and see what it is that you need to integrate, observe, or release. There's something that has to be really kind of like owned by you this month. Either that you want it, you don't want it, or that it's something that other people need to accept about you. Once you do this work, you're going to have this reset that happens, and then you're going to be fully present, mind, body, and spirit. Because I don't want you phasing in and out like some sort of a sci-fi character. I want you to be fully here right now. So I put reset in my automatic writing. I said reset mind, body, and spirit. You're going to bring all of these pieces of you fully into place, and when you are fully present, you're at your most powerful, okay? But there's a little bit of also astral projection that's happening for you, and visualization. So I think that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Again, when changes are about to happen, sometimes we reach out of our body a little bit and we explore where we're going next. And what I'm seeing is that there's perhaps for some of you a happy surprise around the corner. I think 2020 is going to be a very change-laden year, so I just want to get you ready for the changes. So release anything you don't want to hold on to anymore. Be honest about yourself and really get real with what it is that you want in your life, because if you're not ready to make the change, then it's not going to be as successful as you want. Okay, I hope that made sense. Nothing here to be afraid of. Actually, this is a very proactive message, and you have a full month to kind of get ready before the new year. And then whenever you're ready to kind of set your goals for 2020, As I said, you're going to have a nice clean stage to do that. All right, at this point, I'd like to take a look at the cards. I'm going to give them a nice shuffle, pull the camera down, and I like to remain quiet as I do this, but I'll rejoin you after everything's been laid out, and we'll talk about all the messages that are coming through, the highs, the lows, and the in-between for the month ahead. As I looked at the Catalyst card this month, I was reminded of the power of words and how words can be a continuation of thought. The two together are alchemic. They can create, they can also destroy. This month, embrace the higher frequency energy of creation. If you take a look at this illustration, at the center what I see is a projection, a thought, an idea, a kernel of something that you're going to create and release into the world. Your words, your thoughts, and your actions bring life into that. The two together create this sort of vortex of change that's going to affect you this month. For those of you that use this properly, this is going to really project you out and propel you out into 2020 in a way that's going to get you ahead of other people. That's the whole thing here. I want to make sure that all the light workers, everybody that knows what they want to do, you can get a little bit of a head start. This is going to help you with that. To do that, it's very simple. Start each and every day over this month with the thought, today's going to be great. Or you can even do something as simple as, I can't wait to get started. I'm sure that many of you are sitting out there right now thinking, okay, so I'm going to say this, but how is this actually going to have an effect on my life? The key is in repetition, patience, persistence, and keeping hope and faith as you do this. Really, this is mantra is what we're talking about. Around 2014 or so, I embarked on some teacher training for yoga, and I did 220 hours of training to learn how to be a Kundalini yoga teacher. And the most important thing that I took away from that experience was the power of mantra and putting positive thought into action. So you don't have to use an old-fashioned Sanskrit mantra to have the same effect. It's powerful and it works. But for many of you out there, it's easier to kind of think of it in the terms that I gave you, which was, well, what if I just start the day off with a little kernel of an idea that it's going to be good, it's going to be great. And then I'll hold that in my thought process each and every day for 1 minute. And if you start the day off every day with that thought of beauty, of possibility, then instead of casting a cloud over the next 24 hours, what you're really doing now is putting a blessing, a benediction, pushing light out from your heart, from your mind. And as you start to do this every single day, it becomes habitual, it becomes a part of you. And then people in your life, whether it's a boss, a lover, someone at the bank that might be approving a loan, whatever, people around you start to have more faith in you because you have more faith in the world around you and yourself because you're starting to create these changes and seeing that and realizing that you have power, that you are strong, that you are worth something. So that self-worth is going to equal net worth, and it's also going to be super appealing for people around you. So really what I'm helping you do this month is to find hope, cultivate your strength, and to change your auric signature, sort of like the DNA of your auric field. Now that we've really talked about the power of positivity, I want to highlight that it's equally as important to avoid any sort of negative thoughts. These can come in deceptive, or I would even say subversive ways where you don't even realize what's going on. And so one of those is self-deprecating humor, where you're using something about yourself that you don't love and you're kind of putting it out there and making fun of it before someone else does. Don't do it. It's not going to help you. It's actually going to highlight something that you don't need to put out there. People may not be noticing it. So be strong and highlight the positives this month. Smile. Be positive, be reassuring to them as well. Avoid sarcasm, because if someone's getting hurt, it's really not funny. You're actually using pain. If you're laughing at someone else's expense, that's not humor. That's just being cruel. So find a way to weave kindness into everything. I think laughter is powerful, and I think it is important to have a sense of humor about life in general. Life is crazy. Things are funny. Intimacy can be funny. That's fine. We do things even in our own life where if you can laugh it off, it's a good thing. But if you're laughing at someone at their expense and they don't think it's funny themselves, that's when it's kind of something that you have to check. So being positive and lifting people up rather than tearing them down, including yourself, that's going to be really important, because this can just as quickly become that sort of rabbit hole of negative energy. I want it to be sort of like this beautiful star that's pushing out light and is creating a galaxy around you instead, okay? So avoid sarcasm, self-deprecating remarks, and even just anything negative this month if possible. If there's something critical you have, follow it up with something constructive. So that way, at least you are highlighting something that needs to be changed and giving a solution rather than just complaining. So these things are going to make you someone that people value, someone that they see having really valid input. Critical comments are fine, but again, you have to follow them up with something tangible for a solution, and then that's going to show that you are someone that people can trust for honesty, for honest feedback, and that also you're never coming from a place of cruelty. These things, again, they're going to create a nice, strong energy that's going to pull in really great things. So try the mantra, try the idea of trying to remove negativity and sarcasm and bad remarks from your kind of vernacular, and see what that does for you over the course of the next few months. I think it's something you have to put into practice for a while. One day, you're not going to notice the change, but a few days, you're going to feel it. A few weeks, definitely a few months, it could change your whole trajectory. All right, let's get into the rest of the spread. Your first card is the Four of Cups. I love this illustration. We have an elephant which is balancing itself on all of these different jars or cups or vessels here. And for me, this is showing that you really are going to have to rein in emotions this month. I always see the cups as being different sides of your emotional sort of landscape. And sometimes what happens is, for this card, there can be a desire sometimes to have what someone else has. There can be a frustration for not achieving something that you're trying to create in your life. And each one of those thoughts can really sort of be a delicate piece to your stability. And if something gives way, you lose your balance. So this month, the Four of Cups is more about balancing out fear, anxiety, doubt, frustration, the lower frequency stuff that we see beneath the elephant here that you really don't need or want in your life. When we see a normal illustration of this card, there's someone that's kind of not in their best state. They're kind of grumpy. They have a few cups in front of them, and they have usually one that's floating in the air or that's behind them or somehow off stage, not quite visible. And that usually for me indicates a missed perspective, that things are generally a little bit better than you think, or there's an opportunity just in the horizon or just around the corner. And if you can find a way to kind of get out of that headspace that we're seeing here with the elephant, possibly being pulled in a direction that it doesn't need to be, or feeling weighted down or trapped, then all of a sudden that opportunity becomes visible and attainable, because then you recognize it. So this month, through that morning meditation, you can overcome the Four of Cups. And I gave you sort of the tools that you need to be successful with that. The card that was crossing this is the key to make it happen, and that's persistence. And that was what we were also talking about. Mantra, its power really exists within repetition and imprinting that. imprinting that onto your auric field, and that was what I was seeing earlier when I was looking at the channeled message. This is going to reset, remold, recreate what's sort of previously existed for you, and it's going to allow for people to see you in a new light. This is also saying don't give up. Keep doing the work. This is a hands-on month for you. All parts of your life that you want to create. If it's changing your body, it's about working out. If it's about changing something in your work situation, it's about doing all of the homework, like literally kind of pushing up your sleeves and getting busy and making that change happen through blood, sweat, and tears, right? And the other piece is that this is just showing that there's a period of time. For me, this would typically be about a little bit over a quarter of a year, 3 to 5 months of you really pushing to make something change in your life. So right now we're looking at potentially around April or May of next year, you might start to see what it is that right now you want to create. So don't give up. Good things are worth that effort, that trial that you're going through right now. But you have to keep pushing, and that's what the Five of Wands is saying. Also, you have a lot of power, there's a lot of potential. So once you see it, once you grasp it and work on it, good things are around the corner. All right, as we look at your deep past, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse, and I really love any ace showing up in your spread, and it really doesn't matter in what position it shows up because it shows that potential energy. Now, the fact that this is in the deep past and the fact that it's reversed is showing that instead of embracing the energy of ideation, possibility, and really kind of expansion, there is doubt or uncertainty here, almost disbelief, if you will. So all that's necessary to turn this around is, again, that meditation that we were talking about at the beginning of the day to start to look at possibilities. The other thing is that I think that some of you may have had people in your life telling you that things weren't possible, that you weren't good enough. And if that ever happened this month, you're going to reset that mental stage as well, thinking, you know what? I'm going to use that to prove you wrong, because the energy of any Wands card in reverse, particularly the Ace or the Court cards, has to do with the strength and the power of your mind in overcoming other people's thoughts. So it's not always bad to have the reversal. This tells me that anything that you put your mind to this month is going to be really effective. In fact, you can continually kind of sit in that thought even if other people are challenging you. So when you want to sort of be an advocate for change, say you're trying to change the way policies work in your company or in politics or somewhere in the world, a lot of times to create change, you have to have a vision, hold the vision, keep that thought, and basically get other people to buy into it, even if they weren't a believer before. So if you can get into the place of belief, then you can use the reversal here to be stubborn and strong and perseverant. But that'll only work if you are holding the belief that something's possible. So release disbelief this month. Believe in yourself. Because if we can connect the energy of the persistence of the Five of Wands with the belief in yourself in the Ace of Wands, with now the crowning card here, the Ten of Wands, then what happens is we're seeing you being able to check something off the list. You've finally graduated. You've achieved what you want to. Even though that card was reversed, the Ten of Wands, that's showing me that what you want, what you're trying to achieve, it's within your capacity to make it happen. A little bit more of a push, a little bit more work, and I see it happening for you. Let's look at one card that is in between these two, which is recent past. This is what's going to be really coloring the first week of the month for many of you, and it's the Knight of Cups, or the Knight of Vessels in this particular deck. And this is about reining in and also utilizing emotions to your best sort of interest and advantage. So for many of you, this shows that you have more creativity, more passion, more energy at the beginning of the month than you might have had in a long time. It could be because you fell in love, because Knight of Cups can show wonderful love energy coming into your life. It could also be just because you finally are getting inspired about something or feeling this sort of rush creatively. And you could be on a high sort of with your emotions as well. Utilize that if it's existing in your life and channel it creatively. The Ten of Wands tells me that if you really put that energy into motion, then great stuff happens. And what we're seeing here for many of you that have been trying, again, to graduate, to get something put out there into the world, to just feel like you can accomplish something, it's within reach. It might be a month or two away, but I'm seeing that start to happen for you. The crowning card, 10 of Wands, reversed. I want you to be careful this month about how much responsibility you're taking on with your friends, with your family, and even just how much pressure you're putting on yourself. Yes, it's important to work hard. Yes, I'm telling you to go after what you care about, but be kind to yourself, because when we look at recent past and near future, I see love, friendship, and opportunity. I don't want you to miss out on that too, because one of the things that can happen with the Four of Cups here is that sometimes if you have blinders on, you are missing something wonderful right around you. So just as you can kind of stay energized and focused, and that can be good, it can also be something that detracts you. So take a night off every week. Do something that you love. Spend some time with friends. The Knight of Vessels or the Knight of Cups and the Sun card, that to me is about having fun with friends, with family, with peers, coworkers, etc. And it can be new love in your life because the Sun card is another lover's card. It's a different kind of courtship card for me. It doesn't necessarily show that you're going to go straight into something romantic. It's a charismatic energy in your life, and you might be trying to figure out who or what it's going to be for you. Typically, it has a sort of divine masculine energy with it, and that's why you normally see a little baby boy on top of a horse. But in this one, we actually see a different version of love being personified by it. So again, some of you might be enamored with someone in your life, or you might be sort of feeling your own energy a little bit this month and realizing, wow, I'm actually able to create, and you're using that energy of creation for projects instead of putting it into a relationship. One way or another, I'm seeing that the second chakra, third chakra even, for many of you is being activated, because for me the sun can kind of exist within the solar plexus. But the combination of Knight of Vessels and the Sun, it's probably second and third chakras. There's a lot of energy going on with that this month for many of you. In your ego this month, we have the Four of Coins or Four of Pentacles, and as illustrated here, it's actually foundational. Sometimes it can show fear of abundance, but this month the focus is on rebuilding, on learning from the past, and understanding that everything that you've done, the good, the bad, the frustrating, all of that, it's actually brought you to this place that you now understand exactly what you need to do. So it's all been for your benefit. I say something that I think bears repetition, which is life happens for your benefit. It's not happening to you. It's not something that's kind of like attacking you. It's always helping you. There's always options, and you're never trapped. And that's what we're seeing with this card. You are going to have to possibly dig in a little bit and do some work. Five of Wands, Four of Pentacles. But you have help. And also your positivity is really going to bring about great things this month and good momentum. So trust in yourself, do a little bit of rebuilding, repositioning, realignment, which is what I saw way back at the beginning with the two sort of versions of yourself coming together. And that's going to be really powerful in creating the change that you're looking for. I'd like to look at the next two cards in rapid succession because they tell a story. So in the environment, we have the Eight of Swords. And in hopes, fears, and possibilities, we have death, but it's reversed. The Eight of Swords has to do with a feeling of being trapped, but really an understanding that all that needs to happen is a little bit of open communication, some transparency, and sometimes overcoming the fear of looking at what might be right in front of you. The traditional illustration of that card has someone blindfolded, they're surrounded by swords, but there's always a way out. And it just involves kind of like taking the first step. So for some of you, it might be asking a question that's sort of sitting on the tip of your tongue, but you're afraid to approach someone in your life. You're afraid to just say what you need to say. And for some of you, this could be an overdue sort of letting go. For me, death reversed exists not only as an indication of stagnation, but sometimes as a reminder that it's okay to quit a job, leave a relationship, let go of a habit in your life, because this is very much indicative of something that's holding you back. Whatever it is that makes you feel like I can't get to that next step, you already know what it is. And this month, it could just simply be an emotion too, because we talked about the Four of Cups being all about those lower emotions that could kind of break loose and you lose your footing. So whether it's one of those persistent emotions that gets in your way, whether it's a person or a situation around you that's kind of getting in your way, or whether you're just afraid to try something new because it's safer to be where you're at, this is the month to break free. you're going to break that shackle. You're going to move on to something else. By the way, this can show travel. It can show a new house. It can show graduation. For many of you, you're ready to take that next step. It can show a new job around the corner. It's movement. So part of that is letting go. And you hold the key to this. You're not chained in place. That's the illusion of the Eight of Swords. You have the key in your pocket. You can unlock that and you can walk away. It means letting go of something that might be comfortable to you, might be familiar to you, but it's not always the best thing for you. Death is transformation. Without something leaving your life, you couldn't allow something new to come in. Once you allow yourself to walk through the portal that is death or transformation, then you have the King of Swords here, which is one of the best cards that you could end the month with. This shows action. This shows movement. This shows a sense of confidence, and really that this month, one of the best things that you could be doing is using your words to create change. If you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're a public speaker, you're in a really good place by the time this month wraps up. Also, I feel like you're going to be ready to tell your story, to share whatever it is that you want to share by the end of this month as well. So for me, King of Swords shows that movement that you've been trying to create in your life. Hold that vision of being able to be strong, to be able to be straightforward and communicative, again, without being negative. All of this stuff is going to bode really well. In just a moment, we'll be moving into the expanded forecast, but I had to highlight one more thing before I go there, which is there's a chance for reconciliation this month. Some of you might be reconnecting with an old friend, an old lover, or even a family member with whom you've been disconnected or estranged. And the Knight of Vessels in the past, in the recent past, is showing me that you care about this person still. You may have even crossed paths, or maybe they've crossed your thoughts. This month, there's a chance either in your thoughts or maybe in real life to let go of something that was swept under the rug, or to resolve something that you just didn't deal with back when the relationship ended. And by doing this, you're going to build a better foundation. You may even be able to reconcile to the point that there's open communication. But at the very least, what it's going to do is make you feel stronger and more confident. So whether you have a face-to-face conversation, or if the person's passed and they're in spirit, or you just don't want to see them face-to-face, you can still kind of resolve the feelings that are in your heart so that you feel stronger, so that you integrate the lesson that you learned from that relationship, and that you're free to love and live again, and to be that strong King of Swords character that I'm seeing here in the outcome. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at your health card. Each of these cards is going to be multifaceted. With health, it is mind, body, and spirit. We talked a little bit at the beginning about mind, body, and spirit and a reset needing to happen. This card was reversed, but I'm going to pull it up right so we can see it. We see Mother Mary, which is divine feminine energy, and it says love and peace. Let go of the need to be right, choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. So for some of you, the reconciliation could be with your mother, or a sister or an aunt, or even a boss figure that kind of comes in with that divine feminine energy. And it's interesting. I actually had a grandfather that taught me this lesson, but he said the older that I get, the less I have to prove that I'm right. It's enough for me to kind of know that that person might have a skewed perspective. It's not my place to try to push my views on them. I just sort of let it be. And that Beatles song, actually, Let It Be, was about there's a reference to Mother Mary, and it's actually about Paul McCartney's mother, I think, who might be named Mary. And it's just about knowing that things are going to be okay. And I think that's the message that's coming through this month, is just let it go. You don't have to prove that you're right. You don't have to worry about things always having to be perfect. Just release. And it's a very powerful message with respect to manifestation too, because it's something that I even have to grapple with sometimes. If you see what's possible, you want to kind of like rush to that eventual event happening. But part of manifestation is relaxing a little bit and allowing the universe to show you how it's going to unfold. Just because you got a sneak peek doesn't mean that you know the exact route that the universe wants to take you on. So this month, forgive the women in your life, or the divine feminine in your life. It could even be your own divine feminine energy. Be at peace with that. Let things kind of go on their own path, because divine feminine energy needs space to grow. And when you do that, good things are going to happen. Manifestation can actually start to happen as well. I'm going to also pull a couple of cards here just in a general health perspective, looking at energy that you can work on this month. I will say this, with the emotional cards this month, the Four of Cups, the Knight of Vessels, again, I think it is about staying in the positive energy, which I told you about. That persistence is going to be key. When it comes to physical things this month, try not to overdo anything with respect to manual labor. The Ten of Wands can show a predisposition to kind of throw out your back, or if you have an existing issue with your back, it's not as bad as the Ten of Swords, obviously, but it just shows that you want to pay attention to how you carry things. So whether it's a backpack, a purse, an attaché, or if you're lifting things because you're moving, or even on the job if you have a sort of career where you're doing heavy lifting, be careful this month. Don't overdo it. Ask for help. The other thing that I'm looking at this month is that if there's any part of your life where you feel like there's no movement, maybe it's the reverse and you sit at your desk too much. Movement is important because to me, death reversed is stagnation. So if there's something in your life where it's not getting enough attention or movement, you want to fix that this month. If there's something that is kind of in your body that doesn't seem right, like there's a boil or there's something festering, the death reverse card can show that there's an infection and you need to get that treated. So movement, being careful of what you're lifting. Also, if there's something that hasn't been moving the way it should, this can also even be circulation. Obviously, you want to go to a doctor this month. Overall, I'm seeing good energy, and it's really more about forgiving and releasing, and I think that that's the key takeaway for health. Let's look now at wealth. Wealth is not simply money. It's your career opportunities, your self-worth, and as this card says, it's abundance. And what's interesting here with this is that there is that illusion of being held back from the abundance. So I'd like to pull the card really close. We see sort of this wall here and people being able to see through to this chest of money, but they can't access it. And my message to you is that there is more than one way to success. And the way that your parents achieved it or your teachers or your friends achieved it does not necessarily kind of dictate the way that you have to. In fact, I think that for many of you, you may be sort of like a change maker. You have a much different approach. You disrupt the process a little bit. So follow your own intuition and your own voice and your own method. It is the right one and abundance is available for you. But for some of you, there has to be some rebuilding. Maybe this is because of a bad decision in the past and you have to sort of sort through paying back a loan or kind of rebuilding credit. But look, you're rebuilding it here. Abundance can be achieved again. It's not something that only happens once. But the fear or the feeling that you can't reach it is a self-perpetuating energy which holds you back and creates a block. So just as you can bless, you can also curse yourself. So don't do that. Curses only exist if you believe they do. So bless yourself this month and break down that self-perpetuating wall that you've created. You can remove that sort of negativity. You can create new abundance and new passageways for success this month. All right, looking now at love. It says you are strong beyond measure. This is really speaking to your ability to do whatever you need to do in your life on your own if you have to. This is like the Empress or the Emperor card and the Hermit card smashed into one. So it says stepping into your power, and I believe that it is time to kind of come out of the shadows for those of you that have been really quiet and waiting for your moment. This is saying your moment is now. You just have to kind of solidify and decide what is your message and what is your timing to kind of create that splash. So I see some really great things happening, and when you step into your power, people notice you, and that's when you might pull in new love. And I love it when I see the Sun or the Star card because that shows to me very complementary energy. The Sun card is not typically a soulmate for me, the way I'm reading it. A lot of times the Star card can be that or the Six of Cups. What I'm seeing with the Soul is maybe this will be a future soulmate, if you will, because everyone that you've met in the past, it's a soulmate right now. It's because you've met once before. You're now meeting someone that could be having all of the sort of traits of a soulmate, but it's your first life together. And that's even more exciting because they're not bringing karmic baggage. And that means that you've done some integration work, which we've been talking about. So step into your power. Be the Emperor, be the Empress, be the High Priestess. Shed the garments of the Hermit and realize you learned everything that you needed to. When you step into your power, someone's going to recognize that and be attracted to this new sort of self-confidence. You'll pull in a future partner. You'll bring in something wonderful. And we may not be seeing that energy in the spread yet, but I see it here when you step into your power, okay? Looking now at your destiny card, which for me is something that is constantly being changed. So this is something that is really showing your trajectory. It's not etched into a tablet. I'm just kind of indicating the path that you're headed on. So if you like it, stick with it. If not, you can course correct. And it says Peaks of Joy. The card is released, which is showing me that many of you are currently in a little bit of a plateau, or you might be climbing that hill. That's also why the 10 of Wands is reversed. It shows a little bit of a push. But right around the corner, I see celebration, I see opportunity, I see success. So this card is saying, don't give up, basically. And it's also saying that sometimes we just have to go with that flow, as we saw here with Mother Mary, love and peace, let it be. Allow yourself to just go with that trajectory that you're starting to build and trust that you're headed on, just like a roller coaster, one of the highs. So I see good things ahead for many of you, and I think it's important for you to see it too, because that belief pulls you there faster, okay? What a really exciting reading that you have this month. A lot of different messages. I'm going to pull the camera down, review them quickly, and then I'll leave you with a closing word. Your channeled message this month was about embracing what looks like an energetic reset for many of you that's going to affect mind, body, and spirit. As we looked at the Catalyst card, a card that really helps set the tone for the month, we saw that your thoughts and your words are going to really affect and, for some of you, amplify this reset that wants to happen. At the center, I was mentioning, was the intention, and this follow through and the sort of momentum that you're building is from the repetition of that thought or even speaking it aloud. Again, thoughts are power, words manifest the power, so really try to connect the two in a way that is positive and reinforces possibilities rather than anything negative in your life. Emotions are really important this month, more so than other months. We have the Four of Cups here at the center showing that if you can stay in a really positive emotional state, it's going to help really build a firm foundation. This foundation is connected here. We have a 4 here at the center, also a 4 in the ego, 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups. So emotions and resources are really tied together this month. And so the more positive that you can remain, the more that you can approach those possibilities with the best energy. Work is necessary to get things done this month. It always is, but this is saying more so than usual. You really want to roll up your sleeves, take an active role in everything, and don't give up. It's the persistence that's going to pay off. We have a lot of wands as you look right down the center here. The ace reversed in the deep past is showing that as long as you believe in what's possible, you can start to see momentum. But if you disbelieve or if you somehow sort of let go of your power of your thoughts, then that's when you lose your footing this month. You can use your sort of stubborn nature, which is coming through a little bit this month, in a positive way, really fixating on a goal and pushing to make sure that it comes to fruition. There's nothing wrong when you kind of take the stubborn energy, make it persistence or perseverance, and then achieve a goal. I see that as being very, very possible and positive for you. The only thing that you want to do is open up your mind and your eyes a little bit, because look what's around you. Love, support, creativity. So if you're too razor focused, you miss out on that joy and that possibility around you. Take time to have a night off, to celebrate success, to be with friends and family. It's important and it's vital in sort of filling up your own emotional cups this month, something that we see here at the center as being key to happiness. Knight of Cups right here in the recent past, and also we see here what looks like it could be an X. You have a chance to mend some sort of a bridge, to forgive something that happened, or at least to let go of something, and that's this release. It's going to allow you to be stronger and to build better relationships in the future. The Sun card puts you in a really good place when it comes to drawing in things this month. This is showing your charisma. So once you've resolved some of these issues, once you've figured out what it is you want to do, once you've kind of clicked that reset button, then people are really drawn to you and you have a lot of power. Your words are powerful this month. I want to keep underlining that, because people will be listening to you, so make sure that what you say is good. And when I say good, I mean that you're really framing everything up in a positive light, not speaking poorly of others either, not speaking poorly of yourself, using the power of words to propel rather than to cut down. There is a potential that many of you might be getting ready for some sort of a shift in your life. This can show travel, it can show a move of like from one job to another, or literally kind of moving to another location. The card's reverse, which means some of you have to make that decision though before that door opens up for you. Money and resources are in a reset mode this month. We have a foundational card with the Four of Pentacles. What's important for many of you is to let go of something that's been holding you back. This card is about transparency. This card is about release. This is about speaking your truth. So we connect all of these together, and it can simply be about saying that it's time to let go, or that you want to release a pattern in your life. Whatever you decide to do, it's actually really positive, because as we look at your crowning card, 10 of Wands, moving on, opening up a new door. The Sun, attracting things that are of a higher energy. King of Swords, it's a card of power and action. That's where all the energy is bringing you. You have a little bit to work through, but all of the cards in the highest positions are of light, of action, and of attracting things that are really positive. We have a very affirmative card here in health. We have Divine Feminine Energy, Mother Mary. It said, let go of the past and the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible this month. So I was reminded of that Beatles song, Let It Be. This is about divine feminine energy in your life. It could be a mother, a sister, a mentor. It could also be just loving yourself. If someone in your life didn't give you that foundation that you needed to feel supported, then you do things this month to create that sense of self-love. When it comes to other health issues, try not to lift anything too heavy this month. Protect yourself, basically, if there's any sort of lifting or manual labor that you have to incur, because there's a chance for throwing out a muscle this month, more so than usual. The other thing is, if there's an addiction or a person in your life that is kind of pulling you down, this card is about transparency. This is about release and speaking your truth. By doing this, again, we have a couple of foundational cards here. Your resources will improve, your emotional state will improve, and that's really going to bring you into a better place. When it comes to money, we have a card showing that abundance is within reach, and that even if you have to do a little bit of backtracking, you're going to have a stronger foundation. Leaving a job or moving on to a new opportunity, it actually, even if it's a sidestep or a lateral move, you might be building something that has more of a future, more potential for you, or just feels like it's more grounded in what's important to you. Remember, with this reset message, some of you need to kind of look at your life and think, am I happy in the relationship, the job, or the situation that I'm in? If not, Death Reverse is saying it's time to move on. By doing that, you'll bring in more abundance because your heart's going to be into whatever you decide to really do. Looking now at matters of the heart, looking at love, it says you are strong beyond measure. What we see here is a sort of coming out, coming into your strength card, letting go of a hermit energy and embracing either an emperor or an empress, or even a divine feminine energy such as the high priestess. So this is going to really show up here as the sun, which is you're attracting new things into your life. You're speaking your truth, and you're bringing people in because you are strong and you're clear in your vision. And finally, what we see here in the next quarter of the year is a peak of joy. So if you're on that sort of up curve right now, maybe in a valley or a plateau, don't give up. Five of Wands is saying, push yourself, lift yourself up to that new high that I see here in the horizon. So basically you're on the right track. I think the most important thing is knowing that you're building your own momentum. So you can either lift yourself or kind of pull yourself back this month based on thoughts and actions. So normally I talk a little bit about how you can give back to the channel at this point, but right now I'm guided to really give you a closing word and wrap up a couple of loose ends here. I have one more thing that I'd like to talk to you about with respect to relationships. This Sun card is really powerful. This has to do with you realizing your own power, your own energy, your own worth, your own self-worth. This Sun card would sit squarely at the middle of this sort of system here, if you want to see it as a solar system, or you could see it as sort of a galactic sort of energy at the center. Everything's spinning around that. So in order to really pull in positive things, there's a lot of internal work this month that needs to be done. So yes, relationships are important. We all need them. We all want them. But for you this month, that integration of mind, body, and spirit, being truly authentic, communicating about any sort of fears, uncertainties, or doubts with respect to, like, am I in the right place? Is this the right thing right now? Is there something that I need to know? If there is, ask the questions and break free so that you can be in a position of empowerment, of strength. And know that even, again, if there's any sort of rebuilding that you're doing this month, it will be something that is well worth the effort. So take time out of putting so much energy into other people around you, whether you're trying to repair a relationship or kind of attract someone. I think the most important work you can do is on yourself this month. And there's a big shift for many of you. Change of job, change of location, change of living style, lifestyle. So if there's something you've been doing that you don't like or you want to get healthier, this is the month to face those things that are scaring you and say, enough is enough. I'm going to really embrace what it is that I need to do. So giving up a habit, creating a better habit in its place, deciding maybe to, join a gym or start practicing yoga again, whatever it is that you want to do. This is the month to embrace that and create it. Really, it's a month of creation. But again, as I said earlier, there's something that you need to release, then focus on the power of creation, and then have a little bit of patience. And this is the hardest piece with manifestation. What you're doing right now could take 3 or 4 months. But if you stay in that positive energy, there's a lot of really beautiful stuff ahead. And as we see here with the peaks of joy, for many of you, this could be a moment of freedom. And I look forward to hearing how that really unfolds for many of you, okay? This brings your monthly reading to a close, and I hope that you got exactly what you needed to travel through all the highs, lows, and in-betweens. That's my goal. It's all about free will, so you have now the information that you need to make the best choices for yourself. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about something that we discussed today, whether it's something that was in the cards or maybe even something that came through in your life and you're inspired to kind of dig deeper, you can absolutely reach out to me. The way that you can schedule an appointment if you would like is to click on the first card or the first link below the video. That'll take you to a page where you can look at my rates and availability, and I'd love to chat with you if that makes sense. Otherwise, if you just want to say thank you and give back to the channel, there's another way that you can do that, and that's by becoming a patron. To learn a little bit more about this, click on the second card or the second link in the video. This will take you to a page on my site where there's a few different ways that you can get involved. You can do a one-time contribution through PayPal, you can join me on Patreon, or you can now click the join button here on YouTube. Basically what this will do is it is either one-time or continuing way for you to support the channel. It allows me to continue to buy cool supplies and most importantly just to carve out the time that's necessary for the production of these videos. If you've done it before, thank you so much. What you see today is a result of that, and if you're thinking of doing it, I just want to say I appreciate you. A third way that you can give back, and this is something that anybody can do, is simply by liking and subscribing. You can also share your experiences below in the comments. I do appreciate that as well. And if you click on the third card and third link, you can join me across all the different social media platforms that I currently am on, which includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also my newsletter. And if you'd like to also know when I post new videos, that newsletter is a great way to do it, and clicking the little bell icon here is also a great way to do that as well. So I'd like to take a moment here at the end of the video to wish everyone an amazing December. If you celebrate any holiday over the course of this month, I hope that it brings you joy, it connects you with people that you love. If you're spending the holidays alone or you really don't celebrate everything, I still want to wish you an amazing end of the year and a happy new year in advance. As I said earlier, I'll be putting out some brand new videos just after the new year, so keep an eye on the channel. Those videos are going to include a little bit of an extended look at 2020. I'm excited about 2020. I feel like it's going to be a change-making year for all of us. So we'll take a look at that. Hopefully you got what you needed this month to hit the reset and kind of start the next year with a nice clean slate. That's also my second wish for all of you. So much love and light from my heart to yours. May you have, again, just an amazing December. I'll see you all very soon. Take care of yourselves in the meantime.